like see face-to-face meetings back. So this is really cool. So what we're going to discuss today is more about security. So it's a topic that touches almost everything we have in the data center. So let's check what does a zero trust mean and why we need to care about the zero trust model. So if we check any security vendor, whenever we go to any security today and start to discuss this, you will see that it's a very, very, very big area for all the vendors to come and work on different solutions that touches different aspects of the data center. So you will have different solutions for application security, different solution for endpoint security, different solution for the mobile device security, and so on and so forth. So network security, which firewall is better, which IBS is better, which unified endpoint management is better. All of these solutions are part of security. And whenever you go to any CISO and start to discuss this kind of technology with them, he will be just like lost in a middle because he just needs one vendor he can trust that will allow him to have all these aspects of security. So if we focus, and I didn't want to present this because we covered it before, the vision of VMware has been all around any application, anywhere, on any platform. We are just taking the same message we used to have with VMware, and we're adding the security concept on top of it. So how to run a secure application on any secure platform and apply the security if you're gonna run this application from anywhere. To think about what happened over the past years and where most of the workforce was pushed to work from home and work remotely. How any enterprise was able to maintain their security posture and be able to respond to any attacks being happen in this space. So when we define security, the way we take it is we have our applications, we have our data, and we want to apply security at different areas. So we want to apply security in the endpoints, we want to apply security on the workloads, we want to apply security on the cloud if you as a customer have some workload running on the cloud. We want to apply network security on the network and in the identity. Having all these layers together is what making us be the first intrinsic security vendor in the world. So let's go and check what every team cares about, right? So if you're gonna talk to the InfoSec team, the InfoSec team will just care more about the endpoint, how to make sure that the endpoint is secure, how to make sure that you're able to prevent and detect any attack or any malware attack happening in your platform. If you're gonna talk to the network and security team, the network and security team is talking about different aspects of security, which is how to make sure that your environment is secure for any network attack, no flooding, like kind of SYN attacks or SYN flooding, any configuration related to IPS, IDS, any configuration related to firewall, micro-segmentation, all of this team will be responsible for it. And we have another team, which is around the laptops, around the mobile devices, how we can make sure that we have all the corporate policies applied to your mobile devices and your laptops. And definitely, if we have a cloud team also, we're gonna focus more on how they're gonna be able to make sure that their environment or their workload running on the cloud is compliant with the industry. Let's say if you are a healthcare vendor, you need to apply to some compliance with HIPAA. If you are into the transaction, you need to apply with PCIS and all of these kind of compliance requirements. So let's talk in an ideal world. When you have a new laptop or you have a mobile devices, what is expected to happen? You should be able to connect to any server. You should be able to launch any application. You should be able to copy and paste whatever you want to do. But in reality, this assumes that your device is clean. There are no antivirus. This assumes that your login is legitimate. There is no one is faking your identity or no one is stealing your identity. This also assumes that you're going to respect the policies. This is the ideal world. Usually, this is not what's happening. So if we're going to apply a traditional security measure for any of the customers today, usually you're going to have your laptop, you're going to join a domain, you will have your username and password, and then you will just apply, and then you will just have a VPN. This is what most of the customers used to run. But is this enough to have what we are calling intrinsic security? The answer is usually no. And this is why we have the solution that will help most of the customer to apply security at different layers. So the way we apply security, we should not trust the worker who's joining us. We should not trust the endpoints that the worker is using. We should not trust the network connection. We should not trust running the workload in any clouds. We should not trust the application security itself and the code running inside the application, and we should not trust the data itself. And so it's more of a zero trust model, exactly. And the way to do so, we should have more of controller that will be able to detect any anomalies or any deviation from the security policies or security posture you have in place. And even with this controller, you should not trust. Why? Because you should have an engine running on top of it that will do all the risk analysis. So think of it that way. We have a risk analytics platform that will connect, get all signatures required, get all information required, define new vulnerabilities, and it will update these controllers. And these controllers then will update all the endpoints they're responsible for. And in a way that you can automate this, so let's say that today we have new CVAs detected, we have a new problem with one of the platforms, there should be a way to automate and remediate the changes to all of your controllers. And even with this process, you should not also trust it, because this process also could be vulnerable to any attack. So this is the concept of security. Bringing all these pieces together is what makes a zero trust model. And this is what VMware has excelled. So what we are applying with the zero trust security is that we are having user trust, we are having device trust, we are having network trust, platform trust, application trust, and data trust. And on top of that, we are giving you the tool that will allow you as a security operations or security admin to be able to detect and see all the configuration running in your environment, whether you are running according to policies, whether your environment or the security posture is in place or not. So let's speak about different use cases here. So for user trust, when I tell you, do you trust the user? What is the first thing that will come to your mind? The first thing that will come to your mind is, do we have password? Is the password secure enough? Do we apply multi-factor authentication? Do we have conditional access or RBAC policies in place? Do we have dynamic risk scoring, which is going to assess the user behavior? So let's say this user is going to gaming websites. This is going to risk score to him. Let's say this user is going to maybe trading website. This will be another risk score attached to him. What about devices? Do we have device management in place? Do we have device protection? Let's say that your device is lost for any reason. Are you able to make sure that this data will not be accessible by anyone? Do we have compliance? Maybe this device is used for healthcare. Is it compliant with the healthcare policies? And do we have authentication in place or not? Network security. Do we have micro-segmentation or firewall in place? Do we have encrypted traffic between the different endpoints? This is also a very important topic. Is a session that, let's say, TCP or UDP session, is it secure? Is it protected? Do we have threat and intrusion prevention systems? So do we have an IPS? Do we have an IDS? What about the platform security? Is it a secure platform? Does it have a root of trust? Is this platform have compute memory resource isolation? Do you have workload protection? Workload protection here means VMs protection or being able to detect everything inside your VMs. What about the application? Does my application support single sign-on? Do I have isolation in case there is any breach in this application? Are we still able to maintain the business without impacting the application performance? Are we applying the least privilege access model? And also, do we have known good behavior that we can revert to in case of there is any attack on this application? What about the data? Do we have data at rest? Do we have data security at transit? Do we have data leakage prevention in case of there is any data leakage? Do we have mechanism to disallow this from happening? And this is also a very important concept when you go to any security and defense customer and you need to classify your data based on the type of this data. So some data will be top secret, some data will be confidential, and some data will be accessibly or available to the public. So how VMware helps on each and every aspect of this. So with the user trust, we have workspace one access that can integrate with any LDAP you have, any Active Directory you have. It will allow you to integrate and apply some security policies from the workspace one access. We also have workspace one intelligence that will allow to study any user misbehaviors happening on devices or laptops being managed by the workspace one. For the device security, we have Workspace ONE UEM, which is used to be AirWatch. And we have also the very unique solution, Carbon Black. Carbon Black is more of agent that you install on top of your laptop and you install on top of your endpoints that will do all the configuration related to EDR, related to application control, next-gen firewall. All of this is coming from Carbon Black. For network trust, we have a huge portfolio for security. So we have the NSX distributed firewall. We have had the concept of micro-segmentation for more than 6 years now. We're adding on top of this now the next generation of the firewall. So we now have IPS, we have IDS. We also have NDR for sandboxing, so network detect and response. This is also offered as part of the VCN portfolio. We have NSX intelligence and vRealize network insights. This solution will allow you to see all the traffic flows in your environment. So any endpoint communicating with any server or another endpoint, whether it is on-prem, on the cloud, you will be able to see the full path or full trace flow of this traffic from any endpoint to another. Yes, this is our software-defined firewall. For the platform trust, everyone today is running vSphere, I guess, in the environment. So vSphere has been known since long time as a top secure hypervisor, and so many customers are running it today on their platform. vSphere offers out of the box some very nice tool like VM encryption, so you can encrypt all the VMs in your environment. You can encrypt the vMotion traffic, for instance. We also have a very unique offering from Carbon Black, which is Carbon Black Workloads. Carbon Black Workloads will just run on top of your vSphere. It will allow you to monitor and being able to apply the same configuration that you used to apply in your desktop OS, like Mac OS X, like Windows 10, Windows 7. Also, you will be able to apply this to the Carbon Black workload. So think of it as a Linux server, as a Windows server. You will be able to see all the configuration from the vCenter. You will be able to see all the vulnerabilities from the vCenter. And also you will be able to maybe quarantine or unquarantine some of your platforms. If you're also running cloud, we have Security State. So Security State is more of a solution that will allow you to run all your configuration in the cloud according to some compliance guidelines. So let's say that you want to apply some guidelines related to security, related to the type of workload you are running. If you are healthcare, if you are telco, you will be able to apply this using Security State. For the application trust, we have so many platforms. So my colleague Didier was talking about Tensor Service Mesh in this platform, and this whiteboard. Tensor Service Mesh is more of an Istio-based control plane that will allow you to apply security for your application. So if you want one service to communicate to another service in a secure or mutual TLS, you can configure this from Tensor Service Mesh. We also have, like I mentioned, the Workspace ONE UEM. We have the Workspace ONE Access. And we do not need to forget the AVI application security. So AVI is our load balancer that works as a global load balancer and local load balancer. AVI also allow you to load different security profile for your application, and we're allowing you to have layer 7 protection for all your application from AVI. For the data trust, we have Workspace ONE UEM. We have Horizon. So Horizon has been a great solution that helped so many customers during the pandemic time to overcome the challenges that used to be working remotely. We also have, like I mentioned, the NSX, NDR, and distributed IDS, and also Carbon Black. So this is the model we're applying. And let's again go back to the first slide I showed you, which is different teams, what every team will be able to manage in the environment. You would see that with our solution, we are able to help and speak to the different teams within the environment. So for the InfoSec, we will be able to have VMware Carbon Black. Carbon Black will help you to protect the endpoints, will help you to protect the workloads. You will be able to prevent, to maybe quarantine some of the nodes or some of the endpoints you have in case if there is any attack. We are also able to help the network team with the software-defined firewall. We have IPS and we have IDS, and the concept of micro-segmentation has been there for more than 5 years. We're helping this team to maintain the security posture for the network and for the security flows they're having. We also have the VMware Workspace ONE that is going to help the desktop services team to make sure that the devices are updated and according to the corporate policies. All the security policies applied on the devices are being pushed to all the endpoints managed by this device. And also we have, if you are running the workload on the cloud, we have VMware Security State that will allow you to run the workload on the cloud and be able to apply any security configuration or any security policies to your workload in the cloud. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer any. Yes, so the question is, yes, so the question is, are we now a security provider? Yes, VMware security provider. So we are mastering on what we have built over the years. We helped so many customers to transform their business with starting from the vSphere layer, NSX, vSAN, and now we are helping also customers to make sure that they are running all the type of workload, applications, VMs on containers or VMs in a secure fashion. So we're helping the customers, different team within the customer with solution that will help them to maintain the security posture based on the function for each customer. So all the solution I mentioned here, the question is, what if the customer have more of hybrid model and he has some workload running on the cloud? So the good thing about everything I mentioned here, it can be run on-prem or on the cloud. So with the partnership we have with most of the hyperscalers now, you are able to run the same infrastructure that you used to run on-prem, also on the cloud, and apply the same security features. So think of it, if you have VMware NSX, you can run, excuse me, you can run NSX on-prem, or you can run it on the cloud. You can apply the same firewall policies on-prem, on the cloud, same UI even. Same goes for Carbon Black, same goes for Workspace ONE. So you can apply all of these features or all these configurations on-prem or on the cloud. And we have so many customers are running already now or adopting more of a SaaS model on the cloud. Say it again? Does it protect on endpoint as well? Correct. So the question is, does it protect on endpoint as well? With VMware, Carbon Black, and Workspace ONE, we are able to help you to protect the endpoints. So Carbon Black has been known for response EDR and app control. We are now adopting this to what we are calling Carbon Black Cloud. So Carbon Black Cloud is offering so many features like audit remediation, enterprise EDR, next-gen antivirus. All of this is being now enabled in the Carbon Black Cloud. And we have a demo, guys, like here for everything we are discussing. We have a demo, like one of these booths will have a demo for any specific technology you're looking for. Again? Zero? Day zero protection. Yeah, day zero protection usually will come from the hypervisor layer. And this is already in place since ages, since like 1998 when they started the production of the ESXi. Can you just repeat the question again? Everything I mentioned, the question is this part of VMware or a separate solution? Everything I mentioned here is VMware solution. Same everything. It's just more of modular approach, so you just add on. So if you have ESXi, we can add on top of it Carbon Black. If you have an ESXi, we can add of it Workspace ONE. ESXi, add on top of it NSX. Or different, like it's gonna be from the same vendor, one-stop shop, like what we're saying for everything related to security, virtualization, anything data center in general. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you.